Hey everybody, this is Jorik. Welcome back to my channel, Portugal and Beyond. Today's topic, I want to talk to you about recent flight that we took, actually yesterday, coming from Germany to Portugal, and tell you about the flight details, some of the things that you are seeing on websites about what you need to do, the protocols, getting to and into countries. I want to give you an overview of what we experienced, which is a little bit different than some of the videos I've done and some of the videos that other people are doing. So I want to give you the latest and greatest on what's happening out there. So we spent some time in Italy, which was awesome to be able to enjoy the best, including the best food of Italy, along with everything else, packed on some pounds. But we ended up flying through Germany to get back into Portugal. So we went through all the paperwork. We made sure we filled out all the forms. We had all of our documentation ready to go, got our boarding pass, passenger locator form, you name it. I've done a video about that. So we were flying from the Schengen zone within the EU to Portugal. All good, boarded the flight, easy to go. Once we were on the flight, they came around and asked all of us to fill out a hard copy of the passenger locator form. Now, we all had to do that on our phone and get a QR code to be able to enter Portugal, but the airline also stated that it was a requirement that you had to fill out another one, a hard copy that then you gave to the flight attendant near the end of the flight. So it's a little different process than what we were used to. We hadn't seen that advertised anywhere. So I wanted to make sure that you were aware of that if you were flying within the Schengen zone to Portugal. Also, we were told in Portugal before we left that we might be getting a wristband if we were flying within the Schengen zone before we landed or after we landed in Lisbon, which wasn't the case. So we give our passenger locator form, the second copy, to the flight attendant. We got off the plane, got our luggage. We left the area, so we were basically in the arrivals hall. So we were almost out of the airport, and everyone was funneled into queues. You couldn't go wherever you wanted to. You had to get into certain queues, and if you had a wristband, you were in one queue. I'm not sure how you got a wristband or didn't. If you didn't have a wristband, you got in a couple of other queues. And just before you left the actual airport, so you were just outside, inside the doors, to go outside, they had security people checking your documentation. So checking if you had your vaccination document or PCR and antigen test. Again, in Portugal, you need to, even if you're vaccinated, you need to have your negative PCR or negative antigen test. PCR within 72 hours, antigen test within 48 hours. They checked our passport, our residence card, our passenger locator form that we had, the QR code on our phone, and then we were good to go. So that's a little different. We were told originally that as soon as we get off the plane, we would get into queues. So in this case, you get all your luggage and you basically are just a few steps away from leaving the airport before they go through and check all of your documentations before you're free to go. I will say this, so I want to make sure that if you're watching through this point of the video, if you do not have your COVID documentation and you, for some reason, somehow you got on a flight without the proper test, either negative PCR or negative antigen, they are fining people anywhere from 300 euros to 800 euros if you do not have that. I don't know the process for collection. I don't know if they fine you at that moment or they don't allow you to leave the airport. I don't know any of that, but they were stating that's what the fines are. And to date, they have almost $250,000 in fines that they've imposed on people and airlines in the first week and a half of these new enhanced restrictions and rules. So it's very, very important. I want to make sure that you're aware, regardless of what country you're coming from, to get into Portugal, you need to have a negative PCR test or a negative antigen test. So that's kind of the key. And then depending on where you're flying from, an airline may ask that you fly, or that you complete a secondary passenger locator form. I don't know if it's for their compliance or whatnot. So just as I do videos and as you watch other videos from other people and either read documentation from people, what we experienced coming from Germany to Lisbon didn't match what was on the U.S. Embassy website or the Portuguese Embassy website or the German Embassy website. It's sort of constantly changing. So for those of you that are traveling these days, you got to have a great deal of patience, maybe an extra glass of wine, another beer, some milk, whatever it is that you choose to have for a drink, and take it easy because it's always evolving and changing. I'll keep doing videos as we travel and have different experiences than what is stated or what I've done past videos on. And please, if you get a chance, comment, tell the subscribers what you've experienced coming from different parts of the Schengen, coming from the US, the UK, Canada, Africa, other parts of the world. Put that in the comments so that people understand and have a good idea of what the latest and greatest is going on as far as how to get into Portugal safely and following the requirements. So again, thank you for taking the time to watch this channel, Portugal and Beyond. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and have yourself a great day.